Hello. This lighting is terrible. Terrible, terrible. You can barely see me in here. Let me go move. I thought I was going to be able to do this from the couch, but no, this is not going to work. So hold on. Let me figure something out. Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. So, quick video. It's been a hell of a long day, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But today we're talking about how to take control of your writing life. I just got out of a class on building an author platform. If you're not familiar with what an author platform is, an author platform is sort of a reputation that an author or an author or a soon to be author or an aspiring author actually creates for themselves to sort of build an audience for their work. So you might see um, people who might start websites, blog posts. You may see them be going out and doing interviews with different people, big and small podcasts, um, that sort of thing. Just talking about whatever their particular area of interest is. My area is in mostly nonfiction and telling stories, and so sometimes I will show up on podcasts and I talk about my experience um, as a solo woman traveler, things that I've learned along the way. I talk about health, meditation, and all sorts of other things, right? This is my aggravation with some of these writer platforms and why I really don't spend a lot of time fiddling in them. It's because a lot of the people that you meet in there, like the information is good, but a lot of the people who are in there, a lot of the people who ask the questions, they never take, how do I explain this without sounding like an asshole? It's like they never take they never take what they're doing quite seriously. It's like a lot of people have a big dream to be a writer, but they're not necessarily willing to do the work to become the type of writer that they want to be. And I think that this is really important to be able to think about. Like for in my earlier years of freelance writing, I used to write um, food, food articles, food recipes, and things like that. And I would be in spaces where they would talk about there were less and less opportunities for food writers out there. Um, but I was like, there were so many people online. I was so inspired by all these people online who were taking their talents as food writers and creating their own thing on the internet. And it's like a lot of people were completely missing that as if there was something wrong with what it is that they were doing. They still had this big dream of being published in a lot of these bigger food related magazines, even though they were cutting their budgets, almost to nothing. And in a lot of cases, a lot of these food publications disappeared. And so it was always a bunch of whining, crying. Nobody's listening to me. And I'm just like like I don't want to listen to it. There's just so much. One of the reasons that I do content marketing um, is because it's given me a really great way to be able to learn how to market online in the first place, even though I write for corporations. And I don't plan on doing it forever. Like, there's going to be a point in the next 4 or 5 years or so where other parts of my business I want to be built out so that I don't necessarily have to do the content marketing unless I'm like doing high level marketing consulting for corporations. Then I'll do that. But a lot of the smaller stuff I don't wouldn't be really interested in doing anymore because I would like to be able to move on to do other things. Um, but I did it and am continuing to do it because I learned so much about how to market online. And really, I don't get, excuse me, I don't care what type of writer you are, you can always learn from it. Um, and I know a lot of people who sort of take this an entrepreneurial approach to their writing career, who do content marketing, just because like you can't depend on like food writing publications, a lot of these lifestyle publications, the travel, certainly in the travel space, it's pathetic. I've seen people who are doing all of these really beautiful, awesome, travel writing articles. They're getting paid 200-300 bucks a pop, maybe. If you're new to the space, they may just give you 50 to 100 bucks for your article. And no, they didn't pay for you to get to this, whatever the location that you're writing about. They only pay, for people who have more of a better reputation. They're not paying for a newbie to go to Iceland and write a story for them. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to do a quick video about how to take control of your writing life, which really involves really taking an entrepreneurial approach to what it is that you want to do. So, number one, if you want to be able to take control of your writing life, I would really like for people to start to think about self self publishing as a route to be able to getting what it is that you want. In the last, I don't know, 10 plus years that I've been on the internet, I've seen other people build an audience and they self publish things. Either they were writing things on the internet, and in addition to that, they may have written a book or two or three. And as their business grew over time, then the publishers came to be able to offer them a publishing deal. And of course, the publishing deal was actually worth their time because they had already proven that they have an audience who was willing to buy their stuff, right? So that's really important. Instead of whining, crying, and complaining about how, publishers, they want too much, or not they want too much, but they want you to do too much as far as building a social media following is concerned. It's like too many people are taking sort of an employee approach to their writing career. And if you're taking an employee approach to your writing career, you I won't say you won't get discovered. I don't like to bust people's dreams like that, but it's certainly going to feel a lot harder. It's going to feel harder than if you just got up and just took your whole platform into your own hands and created stuff and published stuff and built an email list and sold things to your email list. Um, just build that way. Build that way. That to me just makes so much more sense. And in that way, you're building things that are fun for you to do because you enjoy doing it, and you're building in an audience that loves to watch you do it. What else did I want to say? I'm looking at my notes. Oh, how you start the day matters. How you start the day matters. A lot of people, I don't do this anymore because at the end of the day, I'm exhausted and I just want to go to bed. But even before I had a writing business, I would, and I had a regular job, I would wake up early in the morning to do writing. Like there was one point where I got an editing job with a doctor, and he had written a book. And it was one of my very first early book editing jobs, and I was so excited. It was a short book, maybe like 75 pages. It wasn't a big medical thing. It was more like a healthy lifestyle, healthy living sort of a book. So it was approachable. And I had to be at work. I was living in Florida, and so I think it was summertime. Summertime in Florida is super hot. So we had to be at work, right? Usually during the regular year, you would get to work at 9 a.m. During the summer, they pull it back, and you've got to be at work at like 7:30 in the morning, and that way we would get out of work a little bit earlier. So what I would do is I would wake up in the morning at 3 a.m. and I would work from like 3 to 5, 6 o'clock, and then I would get dressed and I would go to work. And the reason why I built that habit doing that during that time when I was doing it is because I wanted to be able to tell myself that my writing business comes first. Now, it was a regular job that I was doing. It was actually an editing job, but I was very clear that I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be able to have my own um, career writing and doing the things that were a lot more interesting to me, right? And so I made myself get up early, 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock. That gave me 3 hours when my mind was fresh and I was excited to be able to get up and do it. Had I waited until after I went to work, dealt with all the tomfoolery that I had to deal with at work, um, plus I'm tired from just doing the work that I had to do for the job anyway, fight traffic to come back home, then sit down. I would have no energy left for this big job that I really wanted to do well at. So if you want to be able to take control of your writing life, you have to act like you want to be able to take control of your writing life. You have to make decisions that tell the universe that you want this thing. When you give, this is what I always say. We're trained to sort of give the best of ourselves to our employers because they pay us. And I'm not mad at that. We all need to be able to eat and pay bills. But if you want to be able to build a business out of being a writer, you're going to have to learn how to put some things in place so that your writing is going to come first. And for me, because I wanted to be a full time writer at home, I don't want to be bothered with another place that I have to go and sit at in order to write, writing things for other people that I don't want to write. I did my freelance projects first thing in the morning. That was just a habit that I built. I don't have to do that anymore because I freelance all the time. Now, what I do in the morning, because I have another part of my writing business that I want to build, I have a memoir that I want to be able to write. I'm practicing writing personal essays and working on ideas and things like that. So I do that in the morning now. That's part of my morning routine. Why? Because that's my way of being able to tell the universe that I want to be able to do less of the content marketing writing and do more of the memoir stuff and the transformational writing stuff. for women that I would like to be able to create. So I do that early. And of course, I'm totally happy to continue to do with the content marketing because that's how I make my money, and I still love it. I still enjoy it. I still learn a lot from it. I love marketing. I really do. I love marketing. It's fascinating to me. Um, but when you run your own business as a writer, uh, there's always different interesting projects that you get to work on, and you get to design your writing life in the way that suits you. So the next thing you need to do is connect with others who write about what you write about. Connect with other authors, writers, essayists, um, entrepreneurs who write about what you do. And one of the things that I learned from this class on Author Platform that I was in, the author talked the person that was teaching the class, she said to use Goodreads. I've seen Goodreads. I honestly, I've never really used it, and I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go into Goodreads and start to figure out how I can start connecting with other writers that way. If you're not familiar with Goodreads, Goodreads is the social media platform for authors. And so when you read a book for authors and readers, Goodreads is a social platform for authors and readers. So when you go online, you go to the Goodreads site and you read a book and you want to be able to leave a review, good or bad, for the author. And it's just a nice way to be able to build communication um, with the author that you want to support. I'm not really clear how much you get to communicate with the author themselves, but she was saying that it's a really nice way for you to be able to build up reviews for books that are related to what it is that you write about. So let's just say you write about women's health and you have a list of 10 books that you've already read, and you go into Goodreads and you leave a positive review. Because your profile is connected to Goodreads, your profile will also be connected, like there'll be a short bio about who you are. And so you can tell them about who you are as a women's health expert, a women's health writer. And then it will also link to other um, of your social media sites. So that's a way for other people to be able to connect to you. You can also share, I think, your email list if you happen to have one. And then, you can get email signups that way. And then finally, you can show up in places where people want to read the things that you write about. So, taking control of your writing life means that once you start writing on the internet, it's not enough to just write the thing on your blog post, on your blog, that nobody reads. You actually have to be proactive about finding readers in the places where they are. So, for example, I know for a fact that Medium has several places, large publications that have readers. You can write things, blog posts, articles, or what have you, for them, and be able to send these people back to your blog so that you can grow your readership. Um, Tons of people who have YouTube channels who are looking for guests, whether it's just a video or a podcast or something like that. So you want to be able to show up where people are interested in reading your stuff. That's important. So, question of the day, I always forget: what are you willing to do to get your writing dreams out of your head and actually start living it? That's a really important question for you to think about. We talked a little about writing early in the morning, um, connecting with people who want to read your stuff, all sorts of things. What are you willing to at least start with? I always see a lot of people, they will write in their LinkedIn profile that they are an aspiring writer, which is great. It's great to aspire to be something. But at what point do we get out of the aspiring category and get into the I am a writer category? You don't have to wait until you're published or waiting for someone else to pick you to be published to be considered a writer. You can start writing right where you are today, right now, and be a writer and find audiences that are interested in what it is that you have to say. So, what are you willing to do to get your writing dreams out of your head and actually start living it? That's super important. Um, yeah, so like, subscribe, share this video if you enjoyed it. If you are interested in a one on one session with me to get your freelance life up and going, I'd love to talk to you. I do one on one sessions. You can go to the description section and click on the link there, or just go to halanablack.com and go to freelance writer coaching. That's all I have today. See you tomorrow. Peace.